gun in the Sean Diddy Combs case for the prosecution is his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Now, here is my simple guide to looking at her testimony. She's going to be up there a long time. There's going to be a lot of talk, but there's only one question, okay? Was she made to do things that were unconsensual? Okay, right now, she's 8, almost 9 months pregnant, on the stand, describing abuse, all kinds of abuse, mental, physical, emotional abuse at the hands of Combs and others, okay? She's talking about the freak-offs, how they were organized and what they were. It's really prurient stuff. You're hearing about jurors being uncomfortable, moving around, shooting looks at Diddy, because it's ugly stuff. But did she have an opportunity to not be there? Did she make a choice? Was she an adult? Pretty quickly over time, I knew the freak-offs weren't something I wanted to be doing, she said, especially how frequently. I didn't feel like I had much choice. I didn't know if he would be upset enough to be violent or if he would write me off and just not want to be with me at all. Last time I checked, I don't know if you're going to want to go out with me anymore is not the same thing as being forced to do something. She also said she was used to taking a lot of drugs to numb herself. Okay? The infamous hotel video played for the jury while Ventura was on the stand. She explained what she was running for and why it was going on and what led to it. So, what did it mean? What are the questions? Better minds, criminal trial attorneys, Misty Marris, Sarah Azari. Good to have you both. And I must caution you, as much as I rely on you both, you ain't nothing to me compared to Suge Knight. And as soon as he calls, I will get right to him. Because he was mentioned today. But prosecution's got a lot of wood still to chop, okay? Who's doing prosecution? You?
That'll be me today.
All right. So what do you think they established and why does it help?
So the prosecution really focused on the dichotomy of power between Cassie and Combs. And in order to do that, they talked about how he really controlled every aspect of her life, her career. And in order to keep her in line, there was threats, there was blackmail, physical violence, emotional violence, psychological abuse. And all of that was in the furtherance of this sex trafficking scheme, the freak-offs. And where I think they really gained a lot of traction is Cassie's explanation of that video. That was during a freak-off. And remember, the prosecution's narrative is that that's indicative of a pattern. It's abuse, physical abuse, to get her to engage in that conduct. And that's where I think they really gained traction.
I agree that the high mark was the video, because if that is a demonstration of what would have happened if she didn't do it, that's good for their case. However, she didn't work for him, so who cares about the dichotomy of power? From the defense perspective, what are they going to try to do here with her?
I think, Chris, they have to go in, attack her credibility, and really drill the consent, because the consent was on full display on direct. So imagine what's going to happen on cross, right? The idea that while they were together, they were also seeing other people. I mean, how coerced is that when you have that kind of freedom, right? And like you said in your intro, she admits that it was consensual. I didn't have that much choice, but she still chose. And I think, look, at the end of the day, like I always say, if no means no, then yes means yes. We're not going to try to sit. Her testimony is like, yes, because. I did it because.
Unless the because is, see how he beat my ass in that hallway? That's why it was a coerced yes. But let's get some good context from somebody who lived this scenario. Not the freak-offs, but the context. Joining us now from R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility is Mr. Suge Knight. Suge, can you hear me?
Man, I can definitely hear you.
All right.
Hey, don't forget, I'm about that life with no freak-offs.
That's what I said. I said you weren't in them. I don't need to be on your bad side. What I'm saying, though, is you were mentioned. And is it interesting to you that Cassie mentioned you and that the context was that Combs once had him, one of his guys, both armed, and gave her a weapon to go to a diner where they thought you were going to be, Mel's Diner. Were you aware of this, and what does it mean to you?
Well, number one, I was at Mel's Diner, and I didn't leave till 6 in the morning, as usual. But I think if whatever the situation is, it's a good thing they didn't show up, because it would have put a big dent in hip-hop, in the culture of hip-hop, because somebody would have got hurt, and I'm quite sure it wouldn't have been me. But it's sort of a situation where you think about how lives can change and so many people could be put in danger. But before we answer that, I wanted to say that it's always a pleasure talking to you, but I also want to say that I feel bad that his daughters had to be in the courtroom to hear all that type of stuff. I wish they can maybe put them outside and miss a lot of that, because it's always about the kids, especially the women. Well, it's the most important thing in this world, you know?
Listen, I hear you, but from his perspective, he wants people to see on that jury that he is a father, that he has daughters. I mean, you know, they're in there because he wants them in there. But I get your understanding of the calculus. It's certainly making a lot of people uncomfortable. When you hear about this picture of Sean Combs being painted, that he coerced people, they did what he told them to do, otherwise he would have hurt them, either professionally or physically. Do you believe that perception of him? Was that the reality?
I mean, the reality of it is we all got to take accountability, even myself. I'm quite sure if we tell somebody to do something and he tells somebody to do something, I'm quite sure 9 out of 10 they're going to do what they told. So Cassie probably was in a situation where she was trapped, you know? And sometimes you find out stuff, and I ain't trying to take the things away from all what we're talking about, but sometimes you find out things later on that is so bad to you, it just makes your blood boil. I found out recently that allegedly one of my attorneys, David Kenner, was involved in the assassination of Tupac and me getting shot, and of witnesses, but that's another story. But the main thing is that justice for all.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't think Cassie is in a situation where she has to lie. I don't think she's in a situation where she got to be worried anymore. I think she's in a great place with another baby on the way, and I still feel that Puffy's gonna be all right and have a fair shot at it, because Puffy he's not a dummy, and I'm quite sure somebody's gonna talk to those jurors and convince one or two of them, and that's all he needs is one. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be a real exciting situation, but I think he's gonna be all right.
Suge, do you think he's going to be all right because someone's going to tamper with the jury? Is that what you're trying to say?
He got enough influence, and I'm quite sure. Don't seem like the prosecution is that bad against him. Don't seem like I think he got some favors with the government. I think they're going to show him a little leeway. It might not seem like it when it's all said and done, but I don't think he has nothing to worry about. I don't think he's worried, because he's going to be federal. And if he gets convicted, Trump's going to pardon him. So what's the worry?
You think the President of the United States would pardon Sean Combs for sex trafficking?
Shit, he pardoned Michael Harris, who allegedly killed a Jewish teenager, or had him killed. So they don't care about that. It's all about, what's in it for the long run, and what the bucks say, and what the power of the people want.
Suge, I got to tell you, I can't argue with your eyes on the situation, because you lived it and you understand the dynamics, and I appreciate you going through all the hoops to call us and weigh in on this. If you're mentioned again, or there's something that seems to be in dispute that you would understand, I hope you're okay if we try to come back to you for your perspective.
You always come back, man. You got a great employee. She's a great person. You're a great person. I support you guys. And I got great people in my life, and, hey, God's the best. Thanks again. Thanks for having me. If the Hernandez brothers can get out, Suge Knight should be out first. But I got to get Jericho. No, I got attorneys.
All right, Suge.
Bye.
I appreciate you, and thank you very much for calling in. Take care. I'll tell Dusty you said hello.
All right, thanks.
That's who he's talking about as a good employee. Dusty. She works for me. Never forget it. So, other than the jury tampering as the reason that...
There's one witness
or the pardon.
There's one witness missing right now, so, for the government.
Well, I don't know that that's why. But look, there is something intriguing about the candor with which Suge talks about how it works. That someone's going to get to somebody. The only other time I've ever heard that discussed as just a practical reality is with the mob. They would talk about how, well, we're going to get somebody I'm going to get somebody who knows Misty at some point. Is that something that you think is really a concern here, that it only takes one and somebody's going to get to somebody?
No, I think we were concerned during jury selection that you might have the stealth juror. Of course, everybody was trying to weed that person out, but I don't think anybody's going to get to someone. I do think you could see a hung jury here. It only takes a couple to have some skepticism on these charges.
And I really think the prosecution's struggling with their case. This is not an easy case for them. I think the prostitution across state lines is something that is easy, but even with the racketeering, the idea of an enterprise, I don't know.
But wait, if they get you on the prostitution across state lines and they get you on the guns, isn't that enough for real time?
Absolutely enough for real time. And that's why I think Cassie's testimony today actually laid the foundation for the prosecution with respect to the criminal enterprise in RICO. She talked about a lot of his associates, people that get things done quick, drugs, guns, kidnapping, assault, all of the things that are the predicate crimes for that criminal organization. So not that that is the end, but that lays the foundation for what's to come with more witnesses as the trial goes on.
You know what's really nice that you guys should appreciate as we go on, because we're just in the first phase of this? Misty and Sarah especially, I've known forever, are actually people that I rely on when I'm not on TV. To talk about these things. So this is the team for good reason, because often in these cases, I don't understand why it's happening the way it does. This is who I would talk to. So
is that why you always say you're wrong?
Well, when you're wrong, you're wrong. It's okay. Right? You know what else was wrong? I let her leave her 2 dogs in my office. I have no idea what's going on in there right now. You're supposed to have some spare ribs. There's only bones. Sarah Zari, thank you very much. Misty Marris, as always. All right.